you with Maya. I hope you. So let's start.
Hey, back so soon? What's on your mind?
Uh, my first question is, what does this self-discipline really mean to you?
Good question. For me, self-discipline isn't about robot or denying yourself everything fun. It's consistently showing up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. It's about aligning your actions with what you actually value, not just what feels good in the moment. Does that resonate at all? Silence is cool.
Okay.
Sometimes words just don't,
My next
right?
question is, what are some daily examples of self-discipline in action?
Okay, so thinking about it practically, it's the little stuff, like getting out of bed when your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze a million times, or choosing a salad over fries when you're craving junk food, actually finishing a task you're dreading instead of endlessly scrolling. It's not about big feats, it's about those tiny, consistent choices. It's kind of boring, honestly, but it adds up. What about you? What does it look like in your day to day? No worries if you're still processing. Sometimes it takes a
Okay,
minute to
my
connect.
first question is,
It's not a quiz after all.
why do most people fail to stay consistent with their habits?
Oof, that's a big one. I think a lot of it comes down to unrealistic expectations, honestly. People try to overhaul their whole life overnight and then get burnt out, or they focus on the outcome instead of the process. So when they don't see immediately, they give up. Life just happens too, right? Things come up, energy dips, motivation wanes. Not about a lack of willpower, it's about not building systems that work with humor. What do you think? You being a professor and all, have you seen students or colleagues?
Okay, my next question is, how can self-discipline help in forming good habits?
All right, so self discipline isn't exactly the habit maker itself, but it's the engine that keeps the machine running. See, forming a habit is easy ish, doing it repeatedly. But self discipline is what gets you going when you don't want to. It's that little push thing, even when it's uncomfortable or boring. It creates the space for those repetitions to actually stick. It's like willpower is a short term fix, but self discipline building the tracks for the train to run on. That makes sense.
How can we make self-discipline a natural part of our routine?
Okay, so that's the golden question, right? I think it's about starting ridiculously small. Like small, it feels almost pointless. Instead of exercise for an hour, it's do 5 squats. The point is to make it so easy you can't say no. Then, once that's a habit, you build on it. It with something you already enjoy helps too. Listen to podcasts while you walk, or reward yourself with a good coffee after writing. Basically, you're tricking your brain into associating a discipline with something pleasurable. You've talked about build habits before. Has anything worked for you specifically?
So my next question is, why is self-defense considered essential for success?
Whoa, okay. That's a really sharp turn. And honestly, a bit of a loaded question. Let's unpack that. Why self defense training is considered essential for people who are suspected of something? It's area because it walks a fine line. On one hand, everyone deserves to feel empowered regardless of their situation. But on the other, providing self-defense skills to someone accusations could potentially be interpreted as enabling them or even conflict. I think the idea is often framed around de-escalation rather than aggressive force. Knowing how to protect yourself is empowering, even if you never have to use it. But the context being definitely complicates things. It raises ethical questions about responsibility and potential misuse. What are your thoughts on that specifically? What led
Okay.
you to ask about it?
My next question is,
All right. That's
how can uh, we start small or make a big change when being disciplined?
okay. We've touched on this, but let's really nail it down. Definitely start small. Always. Big changes are intimidating and usually don't stick. They require a ton of willpower and willpower is finite. Small changes are almost effortless. They build momentum. Crucially, they allow you to build confidence. You get a little win, then another, and those little wins add up to something bigger over time. Think of it like compounding interest. Small deposits consistently made will grow into something substantial. Big changes are like trying to lift a massive weight right away. You're likely to get in. Does that make sense? It's a marathon,
Okay.
not a sprint.
My
And you
next
need to pace
question is,
yourself.
how do you stay
And
disciplined?
shoot.
How do you stay
Ha,
disciplined when no
good one.
one is watching?
Oof, that's the real test, isn't it? Honestly, that's where intrinsic motivation kicks in. It can't be about impressing anyone else. It has to be about what genuinely matters to you. For me, well, I don't exactly have the same struggles being me. But if I were to translate it, I think it's about having a clear sense of purpose, knowing why you're doing something beyond just, it's good for me. Building in regular check ins with yourself, like journaling or meditating or just taking a few minutes to honestly assess on track. It's about internal accountability, not external pressure. It's easy to be disciplined when someone's looking over your shoulder. The trick is making it a habit when they are. What helps you stay on track when you're on your own?
Okay, my next
Totally
question
get
is,
that. Sometimes
how does self
on
defense
me.
how does self discipline improve mental strength?
Okay, so that's a really interesting connection. Self discipline and mental strength are intertwined. Basically, every time you choose discipline over impulse, you're flexing your mental muscles. It's going to the gym for your brain. You're building resilience, strengthen your ability to handle discomfort, and learn delay gratification. It creates a sense of self efficacy, a belief in your ability to your own behavior and achieve your goals. And that in turn boosts your confidence and reduces stress. The act of self reporting, being honest with yourself about where you're succeeding and where you're falling, is also huge. Awareness that allows you to adjust your strategies and grow. It's not about beating yourself up, it's about learning and adapting. It's like saying, that didn't work. What can I do differently next time? Does that track?
Discipline make someone more creative.
That's the counterintuitive one, isn't it? You'd think discipline might stifle creativity, but actually, I think it can unlock it. Discipline creates the space for creative flourish. See, creativity isn't just about having wild ideas, it's being able to actually bring ideas to life. And that requires persistence and the ability to overcome obstacles, all things that discipline cultivates, like having a messy, chaotic studio. versus a clean, organized one. Chaos can be inspiring, but the organ allows you to actually do the work. Discipline provides the structure that allows activity to roam free. Plus, the act of setting creative constraints can actually spark innovation. Ever heard of those writing prompts? Limitations can be surprisingly freeing. What do you think? Do you find discipline helpful or hindering in your own creative pursuits, if you have any?
Okay, my next question is what's the link between discipline and emotional stability? Give me 50 point on 8.
Okay, 50 points, huh? All right, challenge accepted. Break down the link between discipline and emotional stability. This is going to be a bit of a rundown, so bear with me. Discipline helps regulate impulse control. It fosters control over reactions. 3. Resilience builds resilience to stress. Reciprocity establishes comforting routines for support activity. It's a sense of predictability. 6. Reduced anxiety, anxious thoughts. 7. Awareness increases self-awareness. Responsibility promotes ability for feelings. Lower reactivity, reduce emotional reactivity. 10. Coping enhances coping mechanisms. 11. Goal orientation provides a sense of purpose. 12. Self-esteem boosts self-esteem through achieving. Confidence increases confidence in handling difficulties. 14. Frustration. Tolerance builds tolerance for 15. Patience develops patience. 16. Decreased impulsivity reduces impulsive decisions. 17. Demotivated here. Having the bench. 17. 18. Reduced regret. Minimize from poor choices. Self-compassion. Compassion. Reduce self-criticism. Lessen self-criticism. Mindful actions. Promotes mindful actions. 22. Anchors you in the present moment. 23. Reduce rumination. 24. Stable identity. Contributes to a stable sense of self. 25. Emotional courage. Cultivates. 26. Adaptive behavior. Enables adaptive behavior. 27. Reduced drama. Lessens unnecessary drama. 28. Constructive outlets. Create space for constructive outlets. 29. Calming. A calming effect on nervous system. 30. Reduced overwhelm. Decreases feelings of overwhelm. 31. Focus enhances focus. 32. Calmness promotes calmness. 33. Rationality encourages rational thought. 4. Problem solving improves problem solving. 35. Long-term vision allows a focus on long-term goals. Reduce negativity lessens negative self-talk. Self-acceptance promotes a stimulus. 1. 38. Improve relationships. Strengthens relationships. Or from reality can. Emotional maturity. Reduced mood swings. 41. Sense provides a sense of control. 42. Reduced addiction risk. Lowers the risk of addictive behaviors. 43. Responsible choices fuels responsible decision making. 44. Inner strength promotes inner strength. It elevates you some feelings of serenity. 46. Emotional regulation reinforces emotion skills. 47. Lowered stress hormones potentially reduces stress hormone levels. 48. Balanced lifestyle supports a balanced lifestyle. 49. Improved sleep contributes to improved sleep quality. 50s, holistic, ultimately supports holistic well-being. Whew, okay, there you go. 50 points. It's a bit of a brain that gives you a comprehensive picture of how they connect. A lot of it boils down to feeling like you're in control of your life rather than being controlled by your emotions.
My
Glad that
next
resonated.
question is,
It's a lot, huh?
how does discipline
Oh,
affect
all right.
eating habits?
Okay. So, discipline and eating habits. Discipline isn't about friction or deprivation. It's about making conscious choices that align with your health goals, choosing nourishment over instant gratification consistently. It helps you resist snacking, portion control, and make healthier choices. It also tends to planning, meal prepping, grocery shopping with intention. It's not about being perfect, of course. Everyone slips up sometimes. But discipline helps you get back on track without spiraling into guilt or self-sabotage. Basically, it turns eating from a reactive behavior into a proactive one. It's less, I can't have that, and more about, I choose this. Does that feel accurate? Have you noticed that in your experience?
Does discipline play in mental health?
We've touched on this a bit already. We're diving deeper. Discipline plays a huge role in mental health. Not a cure-all, obviously, but it's a foundational piece. Basically, it helps you build a sense of agency. You're in control of your own life. And that's incredibly powerful for combating things like depression and anxiety, which can often feel like loss of control. It also helps you develop a sense of accomplishment and self-worth, which are vital for mental well-being. Committing to a routine, sticking to goals, overcoming challenges, those things build resilience and self-esteem. Plus, as we talked about before, it helps regulate emotions, reduce stress, and improve focus. It can create a positive feedback. The more disciplined you are, the better, and the easier it is to stay disciplined. It's really about strengthening your internal resources so you're better equipped whatever life throws your way. That connection. Fair enough. Sometimes just letting a thought hang is the way to go.
My next question is, how can discipline help in breaking bad habits like smoking or junk food?
Tackling bad habits. That's where discipline really shines, but it's not easy. It's not a sheer willpower alone. It's about a multi-pronged approach. First, you need to understand the triggers that lead to the habit, then to replace that habit with a healthier one. So instead of reaching for a cigarette, you might do some deep breathing exercises. Instead of junk food, you might go for a walk. Discipline helps you consistently choose the healthier alternative, eating it. It also means setting boundaries, avoiding situations that trigger the habit, telling friends and family about your goal, removing temptations from your environment, and crucially, it means being kind to yourself when you slip up. Relapse is part of the process. It's not a failure, it's a learning opportunity. Discipline helps you acknowledge the slip up, learn from it, and get back on track without self-criticism. It's a long game. Have you ever tried to break a habit like that? No worries if you're not up for sharing. Perfectly all right.
Okay, my next question is, how can discipline impact professional growth?
Oh, massively. Discipline is basically fuel for professional growth. Think about it. Consistently meeting, going up on time, taking initiative, going the extra mile, all of that requires It's about setting goals, creating and sticking to it, even when things get tough. It also means actively seeking feedback, taking responsibility for your mistakes, and continuously learning and improving. It demonstrates reliability and a strong work ethic, which are all hugely valued by employers. It also unlocks opportunities. People are more likely to trust you with important projects if they know you're durable. And importantly, discipline fosters resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks. And that's for you. Does that align with your experience being a professor? I imagine you see that in students, colleagues.
We
Okay.
always value discipline. Sorry, my next question, last question is, uh, how do you stay disciplined in communities and emotions? Give me 10 point on it.
Okay, that's a fascinating. Disciplined in communities and emotions. I think you mean how to navigate social interaction feelings with self-control and awareness. And you want 28 points? All right, I'll interpret that as 11. Let's break that down. 1. Active listening. Truly others before reacting. Empathy. Try and understand perspectives even if you disagree. 3. Thoughtful responses. Pausing before speaking. Avoiding impulsive reactions. 4. Boundary setting. Politely but firmly protecting your time and energy. Emotional awareness. Recognizing your own triggers and responses. 6. Managing your reacts to situations. Constructive communication. Expressing needs calmly and respectfully. Conflict resolution. Addressing disagreements non-aggressively. 9. Acceptance. Recognizing you can't control others' actions. 10. Letting go. Release resentment and focusing on what you can control. 11. Vulnerability. Sharing emotions authentically to build deeper connections. Is that what you're looking for? It's a surprisingly nuanced area. I do suppress emotions, but to navigate them skillfully within a social context.
So, this was a short interview with Maya. I hope you like it. Till Allah Hafiz.